Good morning, welcome back to Not Another Budget. I'm Nicole, and on this channel I'm attempting to cash budget my way out of debt and fix several years of financial misbehaviour. And if that's something you're interested in following along with, please don't forget to stick around and check out the other content that I have created for you on this channel. Now, I am back with another Budgetmas video, and in this video I think I have finally checked a budget for December. Now, you've seen me kind of go through okay, I have to revamp a budget, and I think I know what it's going to tell me, but I just want to double check what are my timelines, because there was also this kind of big question mark over when does my normal £2,000 monthly payment going to go in January, and then giving myself permission to do something with my student loan as a kind of pseudo replacement for 3 or 4 days, so that I could actually stick to a 4-week calendar budget and not have to deal with another 5 or 6 week scenario, and just stop the separation that was going on further down the line, which I'll get to in a minute. So what I've managed to do, now that I know when I'm definitely getting paid, as discussed, is I am running a 4-week calendar month starting from Wednesday the 6th of December. And you can see here that I've started only for December the month on Wednesday, and it will run all the way to Tuesday the 2nd of January, when my student loan payment goes in. So nice even 4 weeks. Yes, I've realised I probably should have used green instead of orange, but I did what I had to hand. I've plotted in things like Christmas Day, Christmas Eve, Boxing Day, New Year's Eve and New Year's Day when I'm going into town, so I know when I'm probably going to do most of my discretionary spending. And then I can kind of, as we've discussed with the grid method, which is basically just an extended calendar. I just call it gridding out a budget. Before you commit to it on a calendar, is just going through and looking and going, right, okay, when are my bills due? And what I will do is, once they've gone out, I will go and write and track them in here at the end of the month, and I can then see when is my initial outlay in terms of bills and flexible food, fuel, anything like that. Is it happening when I think it's happening? Because that's a good thing to know as well. But let's go to the budget. A quick sip of coffee for all of us early morning birds. Early birds in the morning, I should say. There was a cat around my feet, so I might just bring him up and say hello. Hello. What are you wanting? Because I've just given you breakfast. Oh, let's just scoop you up and you can come say hi. Cat. We have a cat. Let's just revel in his gloriousness. Okay, that's not quite what I intended. Might as well just lie down while we have a chat about what's going on, and we can talk about budgeting goals. Yeah, we can talk about budgeting goals. Someone left a comment and was like, is it really tempting to just where his fur's growing back in on his little patches here? I bet it's really satisfying. Yes, it is. Because he just doesn't understand, do you? Okay, right, getting distracted by cat. So let's talk about my budgeting goals first of all, and then we're going to talk about money. Yeah, I know, because it's going to be are we buffing against the camera? We're buffing against the camera. Okay, I'm just literally watching my viewer count just go down right now, because it's a obscured vision of a cat, and I'm not talking about money. Right, so with regards to, and he's going to buff again. You're going to buff again? You might as well just lie down. Yes. And then I can just talk about my budgeting goals and people can just see your beautiful face. Okay, hopefully you can all see that purring. Apparently cat's purring is meant to soothe you, so have a soothing cat's purr. So, budgeting goals. There's a few. And some of them are literally structured as just reminders, and some of them to me, and some of them are structured as goals. So I'm going to need to track daily to get a better idea of what my true expenses are. And if I have done no spending on that day, I at the very least still need to cast an eye over my budget and check in with what I have spent so far, against a to-do list or a shopping list, so to speak, of I still need to get these things. What day are we on? How are we looking? Because as you will see, once this lovely bundle of fluff decides what he's doing, whether he's staying or going, you'll see that actually I have done an overestimated budget. And I'm going to talk you through what that is when I move the cat that I probably shouldn't have put on the desk. I need to focus on little and often rather than overcommitting. Now, to be fair, this is just a side effect of a 5-week, 6-week, month hangover. I'm much better at managing my cash flow than I ever used to be, in terms of making sure I always have like something in my purse. If I don't have anything in my sinking funds or in my account, there's always like something there in case I need to put £10 emergency petrol in, or I run out of milk, or he runs out of food, or anything like that. But with an extended month of 5 to 6 weeks, inevitably you're left with like nothing. You can be left with nothing. I think the only things that I have left are Mr. Percy Pig, and like full transparency, I pulled the 10p's out of there so I could like in week 5 so I could top up my food shopping for that week. So the 10p's are gone from there, but that's fine. That can do its own thing. I'm going to bulk buy 1 month's cat food on payday. I feel like because of the cost of it, it's just best to get that done and out of the way. So that is I would say the exception to little and often is actually, thank you, his will need to be bought in one go, and that's just because of the sheer cost of his food now, and it's making sure that I've got enough for that period, because he can't run out, and he also can't have anything different on his diet. He has just got to have the vet's recommended dietary stuff. I need to focus on listing and destashing for the first 2 weeks of December. You will see why. And also, this is not how I'm currently feeling, but I'm aware that there will be points this month where, because of what's going on with the budget, this may happen. I need to divert any spendy feelings I do have into focusing on planning, and just try and channel that in a different way. At the minute, it's fine because I've been focusing on planning and focusing on organising, but I do know that when I get really, really stressed about money, and I get stressed about what I'm going to do with it and where it's going to come from, and circumstances changing, it can make me want to just go out and buy a thing to get a small amount of like dopamine and feeling better. So I am aware of that. And also to Budgetmas daily, because let's be fair, when there's not going to be a payment from YouTube this month, and that's because my uploading in November was minimal, and that's something I was aware of. And even before the cat, I really wasn't feeling it after kind of losing Grandad and everything that went on around about the first time in November. And then when I was starting to feel like, okay, I think I can kind of structure something, and maybe I can get something filmed this month to qualify at least for a payout threshold, even if it's the minimum. The cat happened, and then my time and my emotional attention and effort went there. So this is anything I film on YouTube, and anything I accrue on YouTube over December will get paid out by the end of like the 3rd or 4th week, I want to say, in January. So I'm very much planning ahead. But Budgetmas is something, to be fair, I do enjoy doing. But if I also look at it realistically, filming every single day will inevitably result in a YouTube payout in January. So it's just trying to cover a little bit of forward planning. If we go now to the budget. Now, what I have not done... Oh, cat. Okay. Now, what I have not done is go and say, I'm going to aim to get £200 off Vinted and X amount of cash back and things like that. No. I'm just sitting with the fixed bursary of £2,000 because I equally need to be very, very careful with how I'm managing my expectations. And if I bring in £150 and I've budgeted to bring in £200, I don't necessarily have the headspace at the minute to celebrate the fact that I've brought in £150. I'll feel bad and mad at myself that I didn't reach the 200 for whatever reason. So £2,000 is my confirmed income. And how is that going out? Well, we have got the bills, to be fair, are pretty much exactly the same, and they normally come in around about £1,200 every single month. So we have rent of £8.50, mobile of £28, internet of £45, Spotify £5.99, YouTube Premium £7.99, Now TV £2.99. So those are my set of subscriptions. I don't pay for a TV license, and I don't pay for like a Netflix or a Disney Plus. So the join less than £20 there are my entertainment subscriptions. They are pretty much what I keep in my budget for me. The Google Cloud storage is basically like iCloud storage. It backs up all of my photos and emails and things like that and stores them. It backs up my videos as well that I film on my phone. So that's £159 a month. So if ever you see me just put Google, it's £159. That's what it is. Car tax is £15.75, AA breakdown cover is £10.50, car insurance is £65. That's the last price for this month. I will start shopping around the week between Christmas and New Year for a new provider, and I will be moving over to an annual payment and just getting that out of the way. Pet insurance at the minute is £21.18, but I can see my monthly premiums going up because there are 2 claims totaling £3,819 currently going through at the minute. Water is 35, energy is 100, and I have lowered the water allocation. They may want me to pay for a year in advance. I'm not going to. My water company are bad shenanigans in terms of payouts and things like that, so I'm not going to do that. They can pay. They can get what they get. Sorry guys, it's slightly controversial, but I'm not going to put myself into more financial difficulty to pay a dividend to a billionaire. Sorry, slightly controversial. Same for my energy payment as well. But I'm not here for that this month, guys. I'm just not here for it. So therefore, my total bills are £1,188.99, and I have rounded them up to 1,190 when I go to my monthly summary at the bottom, which we'll get to next. Now, here is where I have overestimated, and that is because stuff going on. I need another sip of coffee for this one, guys, honestly. Okay, so lots going on in both my health, Kat's health, personal life, extra things. Yeah, let's just kind of go through this because you're going to look at this and go, Lord above, Nicole, why are you doing this? Now, this is me massively over budgeting because there are now lots of categories up in the air where they used to be, I used to quite comfortably be like, my food is going to be this, the cat food's going to be this, it's the quarterly restock of my household and toiletries, which means that, you know, for most of the year I can keep it at £20 for toiletries and household cleaning and things like that, and then, you know, every 4 times a year I increase it slightly and I will then bulk buy, and it means that monthly I'm not having to push the household toiletry cleaning because a super sensitive like psoriasis skin means that there's a lot of products I can't use, and the ones that I can are pricey. There's like going to be a theme to this, like, so fuel I'm going to keep at an even 200, but what I may choose to do is, rather than topping up £45-50 at a time, is I may do some more smaller top ups of say £15 to £20, and therefore more regularly, and that way I can really judge it based on what my true usage is. I think most of my fuel usage is going to be in the first 2.5 weeks of December, and that is because I will still be driving to my main placement school. Now that is about an hour away, but it is an hour on incredibly local roads that I'm aware of. I use 1/8 of a petrol tank every single day. That's how much I know it does, and it's a really like easy drive. It's 17 miles there and 17 miles back, so that is most of my fuel I think I will use. And then my parents live 12 miles away. I'll be going to theirs for Christmas. It's a half an hour drive. So where you guys are like 12 miles for 30 minutes drive, 12 miles. Yes, that's how rural I am, guys. Like, it's not a minute a mile the way it's meant to be. It's half an hour to drive 12 miles on country roads in ice and things. So I've got to be quite careful of that. The funeral, yeah, and completely, like, let's be fair, when we're doing sinking fund categories, guys, and we're doing savings challenges, we're not saving for funerals and we're not planning for things like that. So if in the case of myself, the last time you went to a funeral, you were probably 4 dress sizes, smaller or larger, take your pick, you may or may not have things that fit, and equally, you know, there are flowers and things. I, like my brother and sister, we have gone in on a flowers for the coffin, so that's my share of that included in there. That's a bit towards petrol to my dad, who's driving us all down there. And then we go into the cars from the funeral home. It's kind of giving him that, because I don't think I can take on that drive as well. I can't afford to do the drive there and back and add that onto my petrol. So I'm gonna between me and 2 other people who are also going in the car, we're helping to cover the cost of the petrol for that. And it's also things like a December funeral, a black coat that is smart and fit, and not everyone wants to do that, but my granddad was the kind of man who would have expected people to wear black at his funeral, and he would have expected them to come out in their Sunday best and dress smartly. And actually that's something that I can do for him. So £75 is the maximum that I'll spend on the funeral. I am talking mum and dad, as part of when they helped kind of cover the bills going out on Friday the 1st, Monday the 4th, that kind of period. They did also cover the cost of a coat, which I had seen in Primark. So I have already bought said coat. It was £18 down from whatever cheap rubbish it was, and it will do. So I already know that the coat has cost me £17 and the black scarf has cost me £5. So when I know I'm not going to fully exceed this £75, but let's just stick it in there in case anything else pops up on the day. We're going to come back to the cat. Sorry, guys. We're going to come back to the cat. Food. Like the cat, I am also now going to be going through some dietary restrictions myself. Joy of joys. This is something, to be fair, that I have been putting off trying to... I've been an ostrich over this, and I think it does get to the point where you do have to realise, if you're me, that it's all very well trying not to come to terms with a certain things, but sometimes when you go for an allergy test and it does confirm, it explains an awful lot. So I am also going to be dietarily restricted, and therefore that may have an impact on the food that I'm eating. I do also, let alone the aesthetic appearance side of it, for my own health going forward, because I really don't want certain health things to happen. I am also going to need to really make a concerted effort to eat very, very healthily alongside these dietary restrictions. So I've bumped my food budget up to 200. I'm going to do an awful lot of batch cooking in December, ready for January, part of that whole forward planning thing. And I will then have a clearer idea of, actually, does my food budget need to stay at that? And also, does this have an impact on, does it need to go up? Does it need to go down? Christmas. Now, I had about £100 left in my Christmas cupboard, my Christmas fund, when Bowie had to go to the emergency vets, of which their consulting fees alone, which you had to pay up front, was £185.99. The 99 pence irks me. I will be honest, I pulled whatever I had left in cash. That was also, that was some of the little discretionary sinking funds that I'd had, and that was also the money that I had remaining for Christmas. Now, there are a couple of things that I need to buy. It's nothing major, and I'm hoping that I don't need to spend the full £100 Christmas fund now that is set up and going. Household, I've bumped down to £20. I'm going to see if I can stretch out, and I've also spoken to people who had yet to buy presents, and with regards to like toiletries and skincare, and kind of left a strongly worded like hint. I really like this, would be really useful. I'm keeping my spending category in there of £100. Now, I am going to try not to spend or need the full £100, but what I have noticed is that when I budget, and this is very much a mentality thing, is that when this bunches down and I reduce it or I don't include it at all, my funny things happen and I end up emotionally spending. So as a line item, in terms of I can see it there, I have given myself permission to do a thing if I need to, it's there. And now we come to the cat. The cat. Okay, so his food, and this is me finding the cheapest price for his food for a month, is going to come in at about £100. Just take a quick sip of coffee. Give or take £2 or £3. So it's about £100. Depending on the day, the price drops by 3 or the price goes up by 3, because Amazon, and that is the cheapest place that I can find from the supplier. His meds, I am estimating, is going to be anywhere from £100 to £130. And I owe him a cat tree because he survived. So I have seen a cat tree on Amazon for 30 quid. So at the minute, I've set the cat's budget at 250. This may go up. Okay. I can't see it reducing because the cost of the meds and the cost of the food are near enough the same. And I really am not going to tempt fate or the universe. And I am going to make sure that he has his cat tree because that was the deal we made. And I'm a woman of my word. So, okay, thanks, train. I may also need to get him an automatic water fountain. I'm not 100% sure yet. He's not very good at drinking water anyway, and I've been looking at like different containers and things for him to drink from. He's just not interested, but he does need to increase his water. So I may be looking at getting a little water fountain. So the cat at the minute I'm putting as a minimum of 250. I can see it going up to 300. Either way, if I were to do all of this, and financially we will see that I can't do all of this, which is why it's an overestimation. Do not exceed, unless you're the cat. It's coming in at £945, which we can do the maths and we can see, right, before I even get to my debt minimums as standard, let alone a snowball, I have gone over my £2,000. So I do need to bring in some extra income this month, even if I don't hit and exceed all of these categories. This is just my rough guide for actually, once I take out Christmas and I take out the funeral of 175, it's still a lot. It's significantly more considering that I've managed to get my flexible spending for everything down to about £500 to £600, depending on whether it was a 4 or 5 week month. And that was food, fuel, my spending, household, cat, anything else that popped up. Like I think I managed to get myself clothing 1 month with it as well. Even just taking out Christmas and the funeral, that's a significant increase. So let's go to debt. Now, I am still going to, before I even do any of this, pay the guarantor the £300 that I've planned. That's a £100 minimum and a £200 extra amount. Slightly controversial. It's my largest debt. I need to chunk it down as much as I can whilst I have access and the flexibility within my budget to do that. Because I don't know in a year's time if my budget will allow me to. At the minute, as a trainee, I have more time in my day and I have more time in my evenings because I am a trainee. So I'm not teaching a full 100% timetable. I don't have the responsibilities in terms of marking and reports and the pastoral responsibilities of form tutors, because I will eventually build up to that point, but that won't happen until after April because we are staggering ourselves up, we're layering up. So the best opportunity that I have to really kind of tackle and get some extra income in so that actually I can accommodate and do things like this is while I'm in the early days of my training. It may be that actually I can get to the point where I can build myself up enough of a stock from the old business that I used to run that actually they're all made up and all I need to do is do a few photographs, whack them on Vinted, and Bob's your uncle, we're like ready to go. It may not be that may not be the case, and I don't want to commit to that yet. So £300 going to the guarantor. Then I've got my standard debt minimums that are remaining of £60, and then I have got a £50 payment to a council tax historic arrears from 21-22. And this is something that I have discovered and was told about recently. So they will be fully cleared off by January, and that is what that is being used. But if we go down to the numbers down here, we can see the big standout problem. Total income 2,000, total fixed expenditure in terms of bills is 1,190, flexible spending, if I do all of that, is 945, total paid to debt £410, which leaves me £545 over budget. Now, I don't have £545 extra guaranteed to come in. So it is very much on me to make sure that these categories either do not exceed the overestimation that I have set for them. And I want to clarify this by saying it's an overestimation. I have deliberately set my budget this month higher than it could be, than it is, so that I know that actually what is my true spend going to be. What I don't want to do is set myself a £150 food budget and find that because of my own dietary requirements and restrictions that it's going to be 180, because that's just going to make me feel awful. And it's very much about balancing the maths, and the maths don't lie, the maths have no opinion. The numbers don't have an opinion, guys. The maths just tells you what it is. I've added all this up correctly, so that's the maths, that's the fact. And it's also then balancing the behavior. And I know that actually November, horrendous for many ways, like in so many ways. November was horrendous, and it was, let's just throw you another knock, and let's just throw you another knock, and let's just throw you another knock. And I think regardless of what belief system you fall into, there is an element for me of like, is this something just testing my resolve? Whether that's a universe or a god figure or anything like that, like I just very much got the impression that it's like, okay, we're going to see how much you can handle. Can you handle this? Can you handle this? Can you handle this? Can you handle this? Are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure? There was that element that I very much felt was going on, and I don't think anyone was out there going, right, we're going to kill your granddad and we're going to give your cat like a serious condition and we're going to put all this on you. I think it was more just a case of well, you keep saying, and I was saying to myself, like, actually, do you know what, I'm getting this down, like I think I can handle most things and I feel pretty resilient. And that was very much kind of there going, well, we're just going to test that theory that you have, and you know, if you find that you're not, what are the steps that you can take? And this is just now another step. So I'm not going to repeat the mistakes of my past where I under budget for the sake of making the numbers look nice. I'm actually going to sit there and go, no, do you know what, actually, if this realistically what everything is, even without the money for the funeral and without the money for Christmas, without any savings, it's £370 extra that I'm going to need to find a month. So I think what it's saying is, Nicole, get off your behind and deal with all the crap that you need to list. I think that's what it's saying, because I've been sitting on this. I've been putting it off in favour of a couple of evenings off a week and trying to keep like a day back for the weekend or trying to keep my weekends clear. No, that's very much what this is saying. Hence the focus on listing up here. You know, and all being well, I will actually go, do you know what, I can hit my categories fine and everything's okay. And am I going to have to pause kind of the extra snowball payments in December while I just breathe and recover from November and just get through? Yes, but also I'm viewing this month as very much like I've said, planning and sorting and getting all of the steps in place for a really successful 2024. So in short, not really short because it's 28 minutes and 15 seconds at the point of writing, and I've not even done an outro yet. In short, that's my December budget. There's lots of shizzle going on, and I'm going to keep going. Bowie's going to keep going. We're both going to get used to our dietary restrictions, and we are going to, you know, I'm going to like tease out and work out actually what really is going on up here. But until I know for sure, I would much rather whack it at the high end and then, you know, feed the really good behavior brownie points by hitting under. That's kind of where I need to sit. I know, I'm such a child. Yeah, that's my December budget. I hope your December is going to be fantastic. Have a fantastic budgeting day wherever you are in the world, and I will catch up with you all very, very soon. Bye-bye for now.